This is the award-winning Lee Pitts Live.
Brought to you by the North Law Firm. For car accidents and negligent security cases, call Joe at 239-337-1191. By Crime Stoppers of Southwest Florida. Report crimes and get paid with nobody knowing your identity. 1-800-700-TIPS. And by Lee Health.
Southwest Florida, welcome to another edition of Lee Pitts Live. Where are we this time? You ain't gonna believe this. We're over here at the United Way, one of the greatest organizations in all the land here in Lee County. The headquarters is in Lee County, but they cover Hendry, Glaze, Okeechobee. And we're gonna get a chance to talk to some interesting guests here. We'll be here for the next 4 weeks. Get a chance to talk to the president here, Cliff Smith. Also, we get a chance to talk to Carl Burnside. He's the principal at Dunbar High School, the only Microsoft certified high school in the world. And we'll talk to their band director as well, Leroy Irvin, who's doing a great job getting those knees up high in a right angle and just showing out and showing up. All that's happening on Lee Pitts Live. We'll be right back. Welcome back, Southwest Florida. You're looking live at the United Way's headquarters here in Southwest Florida, and we're so thrilled to have the president, Cliff Smith, on the show. Cliff, let me bump you in, man.
Good morning. Good
to see you. First of all, I want you to know the accommodations here have been just sterling and outstanding.
We're thrilled that you were here this morning.
I apologize for not having gotten here sooner, but we'll certainly be coming back. How about that?
That'd be fantastic.
Now, the United Way is, I would say, if not the most important organization or company in our area, certainly up there in the top 3. Tell us, what does the United Way do here in Southwest Florida?
Sure. Lee, before I do that, though, what I would really like to do is just to salute you for all the years that you and I've known Lee. Lee's an old basketball buddy. I've known Lee a long, long time. Yeah, he's going to pretend like he's dunking on me, but don't believe any of that. But I just want to thank you. You have been doing this for a long time in our community, and you have raised awareness about a lot of great agencies, a lot of great causes, and done a great job of rallying people to support all of that, and you do a fantastic job. So I just wanted to start off for thanking you for all you're doing to make our community such a great place to live.
Well, coming from you, Cliff, that means a lot to me, and I'll be using that as a promo for our television show from henceforth and forever. And I still will be dunking on you at the gym, so don't try to butter me up.
We want you to come back anytime, Lee.
You know, speaking of that, because you and I go back to the 90s, when I last saw you and I said, Cliff, you've been at the United Way, it seemed like at least 25 years. How many years has it been?
26.
Right, and I was saying that most people don't stay in a particular job that long unless they're doing a great job and they love their work. Speak to that.
Well, I have the best job in the world.
Mm-hmm.
What I get to do is, the United Way is really an umbrella group for local agencies that change people's lives every day. We have 80 agencies that are part of our United Way. Some of the agencies are agencies everyone is familiar with: Boys and Girls Club, Big Brothers Big Sisters, Salvation Army.
The name brands.
But we also have a lot of agencies that, unless you've needed their services, you don't know about them, like the Alzheimer's Resource Center. But I get to work with these agencies that every day are working unbelievably hard to help people who really need help in our community, and we get to see the positive impact and how they're just absolutely changing people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
The other part of my job is that I get to deal with the community, with great businesses and people who really care about our community. We obviously raise monies for those groups, but our job really is to connect those people and really to pull the whole community together so that we can improve the quality of life for all the people who live and work here.
Do we take it for granted having a solid United Way in our area? And when I say that, I mean that. Do other people, other cities, other counties all around the country have United Way with a strong presence like we have here?
Well, again, we think we're blessed that I believe that a United Way is only as strong as the community it represents, and fortunately, that's why I think I have such a great job. I feel blessed to live in a community where everyone truly does want our community to be a better place to live. And so, again, if our community is, I think our United Way is doing well, that's just simply, to me, a reflection of the great community we live in and how much people care about each other.
When I first got introduced to the United Way in a real way, I was working at the bank, and we were doing all the rallying and getting ready for our United Way campaign, and everybody in the bank was taking it so seriously. Do you still experience that within the companies, how people are so enthusiastic about the United Way drive?
Yeah. Yeah, people get excited about the United Way, and we love that. We love when people have fun with the United Way in their employee campaigns. But what we really like to do is to make sure people know when they donate to the United Way what we do with that donation, that money is going into local agencies to help local people, and that when we go out to companies, we always bring people from the agencies. And you're going to meet a couple of our agencies over the next month. And what we really try to do is just show people firsthand how their investment is changing people's lives, but people's lives who live right here, people they work with, people they live in their neighborhoods, people who just need a little bit of help to get over the hump in life.
What is the 211 campaign?
Well, one of the programs, and thank you for asking that, because we always like everyone in the community to know about this if they don't. We run a program called United Way 211. The call center is actually here in the back of the building. If you know of somebody who needs some help, it could be someone your children are going to school with. It could be a family that you go to church with. It could be an elderly person who lives in your neighborhood who just doesn't seem to quite, living alone, spouse has passed away, and something doesn't quite seem right. If you hit 211 in your phone, it rings here in our office, and we have a team of people whose only job is to make sure people who need help get the help that they need. So their job is to know not only all of the United Way agencies, but all of the governmental agencies, and this is not a knock on governmental agencies, but sometimes they're not the easiest to navigate and know who does what. Our job is to make sure people don't fall between the cracks, because we do have great agencies in our community doing great stuff, but if we don't get people to those agencies, they can't get that help they need.
That is just outstanding. That's superb. 211 people, 211, and let the United Way take it from there. The VITA income tax program. How y'all pronounce that? Vita?
VITA, yes.
VITA? Okay. I didn't go to college. Go ahead.
You're just a translate. Because we run the United Way 211 program, we can then layer things over top of that. And one of the programs that, again, a lot of partners participate in is we have over 150 IRS certified tax people who can do taxes. And sometimes people say, well, why is United Way doing taxes? And we do that in multiple sites throughout Lee County. The reason we do that is many of the United Way agencies, one of their target audience is working families in our community, often single-parent household families, often headed by a mom, and they're working really hard, but their money's tight, and they are often eligible for the earned income tax credit, and they don't know it. And they are often the agencies, United Way agencies, are doing things with anyway. But if you can get them a nice income tax return, and last year we brought over $6 million back to this community, but they averaged over $2,000 a return. If you can then, with some counseling, help that family, you can stabilize that family. Sometimes families are doubled up with other families, or they have a lot of medical bills. You can rectify that situation, hopefully provide some stability so that family can go on to lead a happy and productive life.
Now, people listening to this on television now, they're streaming online, they're also seeing it on social media. Would they just dial 211
If you dial 211, you can go online and you can register at one of the sites, but also you can just call 211 and the people who answer the phone will register you at the site that's closest to wherever you want to have it done.
Okay, I know we're methodically going through some of the things about United Way, but I want to go back for a second because you're saying some stuff that's making this really interesting to me. You started 26 years ago. All these things that I'm hearing about the United Way now.
I'm probably even older than you.
All right. So a lot of things I'm hearing about the United Way now, 26 years ago, give me like a big difference in what you guys were doing then and how you have grown in terms of being able to be a safety net and provide all these services. When you first started, it was just a little small office. Tell me a great story. It was a log cabin, and it was just you by yourself, and there was no such thing as a cell phone or the internet. Go ahead.
That's a good story. Why don't you tell us that?
I'm sure, but cell phones weren't popular then, and the internet wasn't for sure, because when I started the TV show, there was no social media.
I think what we have grown along with the growth of our community, I think the biggest, one of the biggest changes that we have seen, we have obviously added more. If you go back 26 years, I think when I started here, we had 13 partner agencies. Now we have 80. That's a good thing. That's more services in our community. I think the other thing that we have seen that I think the network has done a great job of adapting to is back in the old days, almost everybody lived right around Fort Myers or in Cape Coral, and that's not where all the people live now. People live in Lehigh, they live in Estero, they live in Bonita. And one of the things that we think the network has done a great job is to expand to make sure those people have easy access to services. One way that we help do that is we have a network what we call United Way houses. They are buildings that we have begged, borrowed, and stole that any agency can use. So if you are an agency who is, your physical location is in downtown Fort Myers, you can go into Estero 1 day a week, or you can go into the Cape 1 day a week, or 2 days a week, or whatever number of times you need to do it. And that way people who need that help don't have to magically make their way to downtown Fort Myers to get the help that they need.
Is it a coincidence that this particular office is located in the heart of Harlem Heights, in the community? When I came up, it's like, hey, it's right here amongst the residents. Is that a coincidence, or is that by design?
I don't know if it's, I don't know if it's either. We just like to.
Because people can walk right up there.
We like to save money, and what happened was about 24 years ago.
Okay.
There's actually the building back behind here was the original building. Okay. It used to be an old juvenile detention facility, and then it was an Alzheimer's daycare center. And unfortunately, right when I moved here to the community, that agency was going out of business, and they asked us if we would like the building, and we said. Sure. And so a lot of people thought we were like, why are you moving to Harlem Heights? But Harlem Heights is one of the great examples of one of the great renaissances in our community. The people here, if you get here early in the morning, people are getting up and going to work, their kids are going to school. This is a really good neighborhood. And a lot of agencies have done a lot of good things to make this a really, really nice neighborhood. So we are thrilled to live here.
It was great for me to see the Boys and Girls Club right there in the back, too. I have a big relationship with them as a National Boys and Girls Club Hall of Famer. One of my favorite United Way service providing agencies that I'm going to be interviewing next week on the show is the Children's Network of Southwest Florida, headed up by Nadare Salim. They do such a great job in the community, and tell me about your partnership with the Children's Network.
We love the work that Children's Network is doing. Children's Network is the agency that is responsible for the unfortunate situation of all the kids who were in foster care and all the kids who have been removed from their home because of abuse, neglect, or other type of challenges. So they are heroic people there that are just doing a phenomenal job. Our relationship with them, though, is that one of the interesting phenomena, the way money works in our state, is that if a child is removed from their family and they get put in a foster home, there's state funding that goes to help with that transition and to pay for some ongoing expenses. If a grandmother steps up and takes a child, there is no, that state assistance is not there. So that's what they use our United Way funding for, is to help family members who want to take those children into their homes. And obviously, that is really what they want to do, because it's obviously less, kid has already been traumatized, and if they can then move to a relative or to a friend's house, that at least starts to minimize the trauma as opposed to moving into someone who they don't know.
Exactly.
And not that foster parents in foster homes are unbelievably good people, but obviously a family would be a better fit.
And you're able to provide services to the veterans as well?
Yes, and actually the veterans is sort of an example of what we try to do, and that is oftentimes when there's a hole in the network or people are falling between the cracks, the community turns to us to try to help fill that. And veterans was one of those. We realized that.
What kind of programs you have there?
Yeah, there were a lot of really good groups providing services to veterans in our community. But a couple of years ago, and actually Sarah Owens at the Southwest Florida Community Foundation introduced us to this group. There was a group trying to do that in a better way. She sent us over to meet with us, and what we realized was we had really good programs. We have a VA clinic that does phenomenal work in Cape Coral. We have a lot of other good agencies. but there wasn't anything gluing them together. There was nothing to move people from one agency to another. And so they asked us to help, and we found a program over in Fort Lauderdale that was called Mission United. And what they were doing was they were using their 211 program, which we already had, as a way, as the entry point for veterans, and so that then they would go to the right place in the right agency. And we were doing that already for the general population. So what we did was went out and hired a decorated combat veteran, trained all of our people, and now we meet every other month with all the groups providing services to veterans. And what we really are trying to do, they're doing all the heavy lifting and the great work, but what we try to do is glue that all together to make sure they don't fall between the cracks.
Now, we have people looking at this show in the surrounding 6 counties. Are you always looking for other agencies to partner with you, or are you maxed out now? You don't need any more
We always want to partner with agencies. We always want to know what agencies are doing, because, again, one of the things that we think is our job is to get all the agencies, whether they're United Way agencies, they're governmental agencies, or they're just other agencies. Our job is to get everyone working together in collaboration. We want all agencies, no matter that are out there, to let us know what they're doing so we can put them in the 211 database, because otherwise we can't refer people to agencies. No, we love to work with agencies in any capacity that we can, because we believe that absolutely partnership and collaboration are the keys to success.
Right, everything that you just talked about falls under collaboration. The way you describe the United Way to a certain degree, I see you guys as like the Tom Brady. You're like the quarterback. You know where everybody is. You know that. You can direct people to that. Is that a good way?
We try to do
Tom
that.
Brady.
Yes, we try to do that. Yes. Yeah,
Via Belichick.
Yeah, I don't have like a model for a wife or anything, but otherwise probably a good analogy.
Okay. You're doing a lot better work in society than Tom Brady could ever do. Let me bump you out, Cliff.
Thank you,
Smith,
sir.
Always good to see you.
Thank
Stay
you,
right
Lee.
there. As the saying goes on this particular show, for those who say it can't be done, they're usually interrupted by those like Cliff and all the fine people here at the United Way who are doing it. We'll be right back. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching Lee Pitts Live. Of course, I'm Lee Pitts, the host of Lee Pitts Live. We're here at the Holiday Inn Airport in Fort Myers, and I want you to continue to watch Lee Pitts Live on television, on YouTube, and of course, listen to us on radio. But to get all of your shows to come right to you, just click on that subscribe button right there, and Lee Pitts Live will come right to you, your time, your way. That's Lee Pitts Live.